All right, y'all, I have a full body flow for you today. No box needed. The only prop you may need, if you have access to it, would be like a blue, not a blue, but a squishy ball for a headrest. If you need, I will have an option to come up onto the elbow. We're gonna start on 2 mediums and 1 light. So before we get started with footwork, we are going to warm up our stomach. So I want you seated at either the edge of your reformer, or you can be seated facing your foot bar. It might depend on what kind of equipment, how tall and short you have. So I'm gonna start here. My heels together, toes apart. I'm gonna place my hands on the frame of the carriage here. I'm gonna kind of push down, but also pull in. I'm gonna round and lift my spine, and then go back just a little bit. So I'm just finding a little lean back to where I feel like my toes get really, really light on the floor. And then from here, can you hover and bring the knees into the chest and feel like you're in this little tiny rolling like a ball position. Now from here, keep the knees into the chest. You roll back, you go back to the tips of your shoulder blades and pause here. All right, I know you can't see me, but I'm pulling with my arms. Send the legs out to your working angle, you pause, and then bend the knees in. I'll turn to the side. Again, you press the legs out, and then bend the knees in. Again, press the legs out. Now hold here. You're in that little Pilates V. Arms, they're hovering now. Palms are facing down. Start pumping for your 100. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Legs are hugging together. Arms are strong. And I want you to feel like those legs are pressing down and into something. Fill those lungs up with air. Remember, you can always bend your knees. Legs can go straight up to the ceiling. You're at your working angle today. Let's just do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, 1. Bend everything in. Roll yourself up. Remember, we're on those 2 medium and 1 blue. Go ahead and lie back for your footwork here. So let's go all 10 toes on. Hip socket distance apart. Every toe pad is connected. Feel your arms and your waistline stretch down the mat. Exhale out all of your breath. And then inhale, press the carriage all the way out, finding your long line, and then pull yourself home. You inhale, press it out. And exhale, pull it home. Remember, you're trying to hold your stable pelvis here. And exhale all the way in. Feel those arms connected to the mat. Your chest is rolling open. And start to feel those hamstrings kick on to pull you home. Last one here. You come all the way in. Let's come up onto the arches. Equally wrap the toes and heels around the bar. You press the carriage out and then pull it home. Now, something extra here that I want you to play around with is, yes, there's this pull down on the foot bar, but maybe you pull apart on the foot bar to activate the side of the hips. Now then, when you do that, the legs stay parallel and the knees stay looking up at the ceiling. You've got 2 and 1. Hold the carriage out. Just find your long line. Let the chest soften. Bring your left leg up into tabletop and pause here. Are you even in your upper back and in your hips? Meaning, have you twisted or lifted anywhere? And now bend your right knee. You press the carriage out. Bend the right knee and then press it out. Left leg is just along for the ride. And it should feel like that arch is just trying to lift up off of the foot bar. You've got 2 and 1. Hold it on the out. Left leg comes down, right leg comes up. Pause here for just a moment. Check your boxes and then bend the knee and then press it out. And remember, you're still working that pull home, just with your left leg this time. And you're still thinking of getting longer each and every time that carriage comes home. You've got 2 and 1. You lower the leg down, you pull yourself all the way home. Let's stay on the arches. Make sure your headrest is all the way down. Take a big breath in here. On your exhale, curl the hips under. Find a half of your bridge and pause. It should feel like your belly and your back are creating this hammock sensation, and then melt all the way down. You're gonna work on pulling that carriage home, curl the hips under, toes reach over, come up into that half bridge, and then melt all the way down. Again, curl the hips under, find that half of a bridge, reach your big toes up and over that foot bar just a little bit more. So those heels feel like they lift up. And then from here, you press the carriage out and then pull yourself in. You press it out and then pull yourself in. So keep working those last couple ribs into the mat, but try to get your hips higher each and every time. So if you've got a tight low back, I really want you to focus on that. That should stretch out that low back. Let's do 2. Don't let those heels come back with you. Last one here. Pull the carriage all the way in and then lengthen all the way down. Let's come onto the heels. Hip socket distance apart. Flex your feet. You press the carriage out and then exhale, pull yourself home. Now, if you're not choosing my breath pattern, totally fine, right? But I do want you to find a full breath on the out and then a full breath on the in. So fully expand the lungs in one direction and then fully deflate in the other direction. Once again, your collarbones should feel like they're being pulled apart. Let's do 2. And last one here, hold it on the out. Right leg comes up into tabletop, left knee bends, and then drive it out. Focus on this seat connection here. We will get a lot more quad work later on, don't you worry. Let's do 3, and 2, and 1. Hold it on the out, right heel comes down, left leg comes up, center yourself. Think of using that right seat as a brake as that carriage comes in. Palms are suction cupped to the mat. So you should be feeling the back of the arms, the upper back by now. Let's do 3, and 2, and 1. Come all the way in. And now we lower the leg down. All right. So let's come back onto the arches. If you want to change this up for bridging, you can go heels or toes on. I'll let you pick. So I've got arches on, hip socket distance apart. Press down through the arms. Try not to let that carriage move. Roll the hips up, up, up. Find your bigger bridge than where we were at. And just hold. Feel the sternum soften, but feel the pubic bone lift higher than those 2 hip points. And then melt as you come all the way down. That tailbone is the last thing to hit. Fully release it at the bottom. Again, curl the hips under, roll the hips up, pause at the top, and then melt on the way down. Last one here. You come all the way up into your bridge. Carriage is going to stay pretty quiet, okay? Bring your right leg up into tabletop and just pause. 2, 3. Lower the leg down. Steady the pelvis as the weight shifts over to the right. Left leg comes up into tabletop. Use those arms. You're here for 3, 2, 1. Leg lowers down. Right leg comes right back up. Now, you might have to press the carriage out a little bit to clear the leg. Your right leg is going to go underneath your left leg. Allow the right hip to dip down and then bring it back up. You thread the leg under the left leg and then back up. It is a hip twist. Open up that right hip and up. And up. Hopefully you feel that left leg working though. Let's do one more here. It goes under and across the room and then back up. Right foot comes down. Left leg comes up. Left leg goes under and up. And if you're tight on your thighs, you might actually feel a stretch across the top of your thigh. So yes, the hip is dropping down, but you're still thinking of that tailbone staying long. Your neck is long as well. And the arms are engaged. You've got 2. And last one here. Come all the way up. lower the leg down, and then melt, melt, melt. All right, straighten the legs out over the foot bar. Either parallel or Pilates V. Reach the arms up to the sky, take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, you're gonna roll yourself all the way up, grab onto your legs, and just give yourself a pull. And then stack your spine up tall. Arms reach out in front of you. Roll yourself back just halfway and pause. Float that right leg up, grab onto it. And then you're gonna flex that right foot and point your toes. So when you're doing this, your spine is lifted and you're trying to spread those toes apart as they point and then even as they come back. You've got 2. And 1, point out through the toes, let go of the leg, it lowers down. Left leg comes up, grab onto it. Push the leg into the hands. And we do that, flex and point. Feel as though that left hip is reaching down and towards your right leg. Let's do 2. And 1, point out through the toes, let go, you lower the leg down with control. All right, let's take that light spring off so you have 2 medium springs on. Let's go ahead and lie down. Headrest can come back up if you prefer it up. Your hands are gonna go into the short loops. If you need less tension, your hands go into the long loops. All right, firm grip around those fists. Bring your knees into your chest. You lower the arms all the way down and pause. Active punch out through the fist to create space between shoulders and ears. If you can, curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. You become a tiny little ball. From here, straighten your right leg out and then switch. Really work the pull of the knee in and the push out through the fists. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1. Bring both knees into your chest. Hug the legs together, bend the elbows, straighten the arms out, hold here. Dig the knuckles into the mat. Right leg comes up, left leg lowers down, but it doesn't rest, and scissor switch, and switch, and switch. For 2 and 1. Bring the legs together, bend the knees into the chest, bend the elbows. Again, press the legs out, you hold. Under, over with those legs. Think of like a little crisscross with those legs. You got 3 and 2 and 1. Zip the legs up, knees come in, bend the elbows, then you lower all the way down. Take your feet up into the short loops. Pull the heels to the seat. So find the bottom of like your frog. Strong point out through the toes. Tailbone is heavy, arms are long. Press the legs out and pause here. Make sure the ribs are heavy. Tailbone is heavy. Bends the knees all the way in. You inhale, press the legs away. And exhale back in. So imagine those toes were on the foot bar. You're pulling yourself home. Inhale out. Exhale in. Upper arm bones are trying to stay connected to the mat. Last one here. Press those legs out. Find parallel now. The carriage is not going to move. You open the legs and you close the legs. Now the point where it feels like the carriage wants to move, that's where you either stop or you make the legs longer. Feel that this reach is almost coming from your center. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1. Bring the legs back together, find heels together, toes apart. Float the legs up to your 90. Press down into the arms. Make sure your headrest is down pretty, please. We're gonna do a rollover. This is your short spine. Legs go up and over and pause at the top. Feel this long line. Keep energy up into the straps. Bend the knees in towards the blocks to lift those hips up maybe a little bit higher. Start to pull the heels to the seat. Roll down like a little ball. Roll down, roll down. Tailbone hits, send the legs out. Let's do that one more time. Legs come up and over. Arms get longer, legs get longer. Space between chin and chest if you can. Bend the knees in, hips get higher. Pull your heels to your seat, roll down like a little ball. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and take the straps off. hang up those straps. And then here, let's come to one medium spring. So if you have that ball or a headrest, go ahead and grab it. The other option is to be on your forearm for a little bit of side lying. So you're gonna come lying on your side. Now, if you've chosen to come up onto the forearm, I want you to treat that as your side plank. Your bottom knee is just bent, but think of it pressing down into the mat. From here, just straighten that top leg out and pause. Find this long line where it feels like your ribs start to lighten off the mat. You're gonna keep that lightness. Sweep that top leg forward and then press it back. So wherever you start to lose control and your hips start to shift, your spine starts to shift, that's where we stop. We either stop and control things and maybe go further, or we just stop and we press the leg back. I want you to feel like those toes are trying to touch the walls in the room right now. Now stretch that leg to your foot bar and just pause here. Find a little bit more head to tail length. From here, flex that top foot. It's up against a wall right now. Slide the foot up the wall and then lower it down. Slide the foot up the wall and down. So the higher up the leg goes, the longer it's got to get. You've got 2. And 1, you hold it there. Just hold it a little bit higher than hip socket distance apart. Make sure that top hip is rolling forward just a hair. Now we internally rotate that top leg. We externally rotate. We internally rotate. We externally rotate. That's it. Feel that this is coming from your hip and your thigh bone. Just turning in the socket. Last one here. Find parallel. Sweep the leg forward just a little bit. We do that same thing. We externally rotate, internally rotate. So kneecap tries to look up, it tries to look down. Don't let that carriage move. I hope you're feeling stuff and things. You've got 3, and 2, and 1. Sweep the leg back to center, bend the knee in. Let's do the other side. I told you, quick, quick, quick today. All right, top strap on that top foot. Press the leg out and pause here. Remember, the bottom leg is trying to press down into the mat. Hips are stacked. From here, keep the lightness in your ribs as you sweep the leg forward and then press it back. Now, you might see my leg doing this like wavy motion, right? We're trying not to do that. We're trying to keep it on this level plane as it sweeps forward and back. And it's whatever makes you happiest with that top hand. It can be into the mat, it can be on the hip. And remember, make that leg longer, especially as it goes back. Last one here. Hold that leg in line with the rest of your body. Flex that foot. You glide it up that imaginary wall and then back down. Glide it up the wall and down. The top leg stays parallel. It might want to turn out as it lifts, so just check in with things. It almost feels like you're leading with the back edge of your heel to lift the leg up. We have 3 and 2. This is definitely my weaker side. Last one here, hold that leg lifted. Hold it lifted. We do that external and internal. This might be the tiniest movement we ever do. Feel that that whole leg is spiraling in the socket. We've got 3 and 2 and 1. Now sweep the leg a little bit forward. Do the same thing. Hang in there. I'm feeling this just as much as you right now. Feels like my leg might fall off a little bit. Let's do 3 and 2. Fight that carriage from moving. Last one here. Sweep the leg back to center, bends the knee in, take that strap off. You don't need your ball or your headrest anymore. We are done with it. And now I want you to add a light spring. So you have a medium and a light spring. You're gonna turn around, face the back of your reformer. Lots of readjusting today. There's a palm's distance behind your booty and the edge of the mat. Let's grab the short loops. If you need less tension, grab the long loops. So I want you to start by sitting up tall. Legs are hugging together, but also pressing down, whether they're crossed or parallel, doesn't matter, right? So from here, row the fists into the sternum and pause. Really think about squeezing your biceps, but also pushing your elbows wide and forward. From here, we roll back, round back, stretch back, and pause. Your neck is long, your biceps are engaged, and then just roll yourself all the way up, up, up. Again, roll yourself back. Send the legs down into the mat, and then roll yourself up. Again, roll yourself back. Feel that pelvis curl under. And now start to straighten your arms, and then pull the fists back in. Inhale as the arms open. Exhale, pull them in. Kind of like a mix between a hug a tree and a bicep curl. That upper back stays stable. For 2 and 1, keep the fists hugging in and then roll yourself all the way up. Uncross, recross the legs if they're crossed. And now I want you to reach the arms straight out in front of you. All right, now we do that half roll back again. Find your long line from here, elbows stay lifted. Now we do a full-on bicep curl and then slowly release. Curl the fists all the way into the shoulders and then slowly release. Try not to rely on momentum here. Shoulder blades should feel like they're pulling apart. They stay apart. Let's do 2. And 1, arms go straight. Roll yourself all the way up, getting taller than where you were before. Now let's go to the long loops for everybody. My palms are facing in. I'm gonna sit up uncomfortably tall with straight arms, pull the arms down and back and pause. Feel like you're hugging your arms into the carriage, but lifting your heart up taller, and then slowly release the arms. Again, pull the arms down and back. This is your chest expansion, and then slowly release the arms. 2 more here. And then release. Feel like the fists reach down to the floor, you lift up, and then release. All right, now turn the palms kind of facing out to the sides. Do what you can, I know it's a heavy spring, okay? So from here, you're gonna press the arms back and then slowly release the arms. You lift taller as they press back and then release. Again, you press back, arms come back. Now, turn or bring your arms to those 90 position. Uncross, recross your legs one more time if they're crossed. You're gonna keep a flat back. You're gonna hinge back. Arms come with you, hinge back, go back, and then come all the way up. Let's do that again. Inhale as you go back. Exhale as you come up. Keep that space between your shoulder blades. So shoulder girdle stays stable. Last one here, and then we'll combo it. And then come all the way up. Once you come up, arms go out straight, palms face back. You're gonna do that press back as your heart lifts. Bring your arms back up to that 90. You hinge back, go back, come all the way up, getting taller. Arms go out, you press back, arms get longer, y'all. They come back in, and you hinge back. Soften through the base of the ribs. Come all the way up. How are those arms feeling? Last one here. You press back, arms come in, arms at 90, you hinge back, go back, come all the way up, 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 and then just round forward, pull yourself forward, hang up the straps, and let's come to a light spring. One light spring, you're gonna scoot all the way forward. Those long loops, they are going to go over your thighs. Okay, make sure you're not tangled. And then from here, you lie back. So your hips are pretty close to your shoulder blocks, all right? And your head most likely will be hanging off the edge, so just be mindful of that. Interlace the webbing of your fingers. Hands go behind the base of your skull.
Bring your knees into your chest. So the carriage just moved. Elbows are wide. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up, but push your head back into your hands. So we're not in our neck, we're in our upper abdominals. From here, pull your right knee in closer as your left leg goes out. Carriage doesn't move. Left knee comes in, smooth like butter. Right leg reaches out, left knee pulls in, and then you switch. You're trying to limit the movement of the carriage here. And in. Curl up a little bit higher as that knee pulls in. And switch. One more on each side. Pull it in as the leg gets long and all the way in. Last one here in this variation. Now keep the chest lifted. Inhale, send the legs away. And then exhale, pull it all the way in. Inhale, legs go away. Exhale, pull it all the way in. Inhale the legs away. Exhale, empty the lungs. Try to roll those hips up off the mat. Again, now as the legs go out, let your head go back towards the well. Arch your upper back just a little bit. Take a big breath in. And then on your exhale, pull the knees in. Find that upper ab curl. Empty the lungs. Inhale, legs go out. Upper back kind of arches just a little bit if that feels okay. And then exhale, ribs draw down. Exhale, up, 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 up. Last one. Legs go out. Draw the base of the ribs down as you empty the lungs. Come all the way up. All right. Let's go ahead and come out of this. Straps come off. Hang them up. All right. So coming up to standing to the side of your carriage, you're still going to stay on that one light spring. So place your left foot up against that shoulder block here. And I'm going to bring my right foot just in front. So my legs, my thighs are kind of offset here. Make sure your right leg is hugging the side of the carriage here. Let's just start with, let's take the hands behind the head again. Interlace the webbing of the fingers, elbows go wide. Feel the head traction up and into the hands. Press the carriage back as far as you can go. So that back leg, you're trying to get it straight. Now bend into your right knee to lunge down, keeping the heart open and lifted, and then pull yourself all the way in. That left knee bends. You press it back, you bend into the right knee, and then pull it in. Now you should be getting a really nice stretch on the top of that left thigh. And please know if this arm position isn't for you, arms can go out onto the hips. This just adds a little upper back element. And then drag it in. Now we play, all right? We press it back. Make sure the right knee is bent right over the center of your foot. As you bring the carriage in, I want you to round your spine. So now your left knee is bent. Your abs are lifted. You press the carriage back. You go right into that lunge. Heart lifts. You bring the carriage in. So both my knees are a little bent here. One knee's more bent than the other. And then press it back out. So we're going from a little extension to flexion. You press it back. Drive back through that inner edge of your heel and then pull it in. And you might notice that my leg, my knee kind of touches the reformer. It's fine, but I'm not resting there. All right, leg lengths, reformer lengths, all the things, right? Now press it back and pause here. I want you to lift and twist to the right and then come back through center, round the spine. 2 more times like this. You lift and twist to the right and then come back through center, round the spine. Again, press it back, lift and twist, come center, pause here. Your right heel, it's gonna lift and lower. It's gonna lift and lower. Hang in there. Keep that head to hand connection. You got 3 and 2. Making me sweat. Last one here, lower the heel, bring it all the way in. All right, other side. Okay, second side's always worse. Find that same hand or arm connection or arm position that you had. From here, press the carriage back, you lunge down, and then bring it in. So make sure that left leg is hugging the frame of the carriage. Your tailbone is staying long. So yes, we're kind of going into a little bit extension here, but we're not dumping into the low back.
And I'm hoping you're getting a really nice stretch. There's a lot of work here, but there's such a nice stretch. And then all the way in. Okay, now we add on. You bring it in, legs stay active, round your spine. Keep the head pushing up and into the hands. You press it back. And exhale, pull it all the way in, in. Again, you press it back, you lift. And then back in. Again. Lift that heart up and back in. Remember that extension is always about length over height. And then drag it back in. 2 more here, hang in there. And then we do that twist. Last one here. And now square yourself off, right? So flatten your back out. You lift and twist to the left, push that left elbow back. You come back through center, bring the carriage all the way in. Whew. Again, you press it back. Find that low lunge. You lift and twist to the left and square yourself off. Bring the carriage in. Press it out. I'm feeling this work. Lift and twist. Back to center. You hold here. Left heel lifts and lowers. How are those legs doing right now? Hang in there. Can you lift that heel up a little bit higher? Can you maybe go down lower into that lunge? You got 3. And 2. And 1. Lower the heel down. Bring it all the way in. Whew. Shake it out. All right, staying on the light spring. You're gonna come kneeling on the carriage. Toes gonna be up on that gray platform. So please, if at any point you need to adjust your springs, please do so. We're gonna get into some side planking, and I feel that the lighter spring is nicer for one arm. But we're gonna start with both. So elbows down, or forearms down. Toes are tucked under. Let's go feet hip socket distance apart. So find that pull apart of your shoulder blades, or a protraction, right? And a press down through the forearms. From here, you float the knees up, you press the carriage out, you pause here. Let's do some protraction, retraction. So lower the chest down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then lift the chest back up. Lower the chest down, retraction. Lift the chest back up, protraction. Retraction, protraction. Really work the lift of the sternum and the base of the ribs up from the floor. Let's do 2. Legs are solid. Last one here, find protraction, bend the knees, come all the way home. Take a moment, shake it out. You can also do this on your hands. Lots of options, y'all, lots of options. All right, so now we're gonna do our saw, just sliding the carriage out and in, and then we'll move on to our side plank. So find the arm position that works best for you. Elbows or hands underneath your shoulders. Lift the knees up, press the carriage out. You glide the carriage out and pull it in. Inhale the arms away. Exhale, pull it in. Tailbone should feel long. Base of the ribs lifting up into the back the whole time. For 4. And 3. And 2. And 1, bring it in, bend the knees, come all the way home. For your side plank, we're gonna start with your elbows, your forearms like this into the mat, because we are gonna go from a plank to a side plank, plank, side plank. If you realize that this is not for you, work on a weight shift from side to side. Otherwise, forearms go into the mat. Toes are tucked under. You ready? We're ready. Let's do it. Press the forearms down. Lift the knees, press the carriage out. Steady yourself, maybe walk the feet further apart. Start to shift over to your left. Feet have to roll over, arm goes up. You come down, forearm comes down. Roll the feet, roll the hips. Press into that whole forearm. Come all the way down. Press into that fist. Steady the carriage as best you can. It's good. Good stuff, y'all. Hang in there. I'm feeling this right there with you. Let's do 2 more after this. So we'll call this 3. Try not to collapse, right? You gotta lift
up off that elbow. Last one here. Lift up, both elbows down, bends the knees, come all the way home. Take your hands up onto the blocks or the carriage and just find a little tail wag, maybe a little cat-cow. Okay, let's now come back to one medium spring, one medium. You're gonna come kneeling on your carriage, facing your foot bar, feet tucked up or wedged up against the blocks, and you've got your hands in the long loops. Firm grip around your straps. Again, if you wanna go heavier, you go heavier or lighter. So come all the way up to this active kneeling position. Feel like your lower half is doing a bridge right now. So booty is very much at the party. From here, you raise the arms up and then lower the arms down. Strong punch out through the fists as they reach forward and then back down. So just like everything else we've done, I want you to find that space in your upper back as you reach the fists forward and then back down. So a couple reformer sessions ago, we worked on our teaser on the long box, and that push out through the fists, the pinkies up in line with those index fingers. It's the same position here. And I'm just talking to get your mind off of the shoulder work. Tailbone stays long here. Feel like you're hugging those inner thighs together even though they're apart. Now, arms come up. They open. They close. They hug in. So we're drawing kind of an oval. If the shoulders are capable of it and you can control it, the circles can be bigger. Last one here. Lift the arms back up to that high diagonal, and then we lower them down. We reverse the circles. Whew. Even as the arms come down, shoulder blades, they're still thinking of kind of pulling apart. Whew. Last one here. Arms come up, they come down, bends the knees, lower everything down. Okay, let's change back to a light spring. If you're feeling good with those and you're like, that was nothing, maybe you stay on the medium spring. I'm gonna come down to a lighter spring. I'm gonna come kneeling up against my shoulder blocks. Knees, hip socket distance apart. I am gonna grab onto the short loop. I'm gonna try it because it is a lighter spring. Opposite hand on your hip. Hug that fist in. So like I'm doing a bicep curl from the side. From here, I punch that fist straight up. Light spring was a good choice. And then back down. I might even switch to that long strap. Punch the fist up and then drag it back down. So notice my arm is not straightening today, and that's okay. But it should feel like this reach of the arm is coming from your back. Your shins are pressing down, pubic bone is forward, your tailbone is long. Let's do 2. And 1. You pull it in. Switch hands. Right hand goes to your hip. Square yourself off. You've got a strong grip with your fist. You need it. Elbow comes out, you pause. Elbow stays there. Arm goes out. All right? Elbow stays there. Bend the elbow in. And then place the sword back, whatever it's called. Draw the sword. Elbow goes out. Arm goes out. Elbow bends and then comes all the way back in. Let's add on. Elbow out. Arm goes straight. Pause. Keep your body square as that arm crosses the body. Yep. Elbow goes out. Arm goes out. Slowly cross the body. Don't twist, don't twist, don't twist. Last one here. Elbow goes out. Arm goes out. You grow taller and longer as the arm comes back in. Okay, let's do the other side. So this time, hands on here, find your tall lifted spine, firm grip with your fists, you punch the fists up and then drag it down. So because that tension is coming from your left, it feels like you have to kind of hug in with that hand, especially as it comes up. And you're trying to resist the shoulder from really creeping up into the ear, because that's what it wants to do here. So just like that rowing that we did, that elbow kind of reaches around and then up. Let's do 3.
I'm feeling these shoulders today, y'all. And 2. And 1, come all the way down. Switch hands, square yourself off. We do 2 with just that bending of the elbow. Elbow comes out. Feel that arm stick into the back here. You bend the elbow and then place the sword back. So all this is shoulder girdle stability. Now as we go out, option here to keep that arm straight as it crosses the body. Back out. Reach the fists across the room. Last one here. Stay square, stay square. Come all the way in. All right, go ahead and hang up that strap. Let's come back to the red spring. Told you lots of switches today, but we're almost there. So just a nice little stretch here before we completely finish. So hook your thumbs onto the long loops. Legs are gonna go straight and they're gonna flex. Like flex them really hard. Pull those pinky toes back. Fists go into the mat. You're gonna sit up tall. Take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, nod your chin. Shave the mat with those fists. Think of reaching the fists below your feet and even below the springs. From here, arms lift up. You stack your spine up tall, tall, tall. Arms lift up to the ceiling. They open out wide to the sides of the room and then bend back in. Fists into the mat. You sit up tall. Nod your chin, round up and over. Can you lift those heels up higher? Lift the ribs up off of the thighs. Arms lift up. They stay there. You stack your spine up tall, 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 tall. Arms lift up. Open out wide. I know we're going way out of order today. Fists into the mat. Last one here, but I'm hoping you're getting a lovely stretch in this reach forward. Arms lift up. Stack your spine up tall. Arms go up to the ceiling. Out wide. Open the arms. Okay, hang up the straps. Now, let's do a little side bend. So a lot of people will teach it like this. You're more than welcome to do that. But today I want to challenge you, or give you an option, of coming to this position. Shins, legs stacked, trying to get both shins up against the shoulder blocks. Okay, left hand onto your foot bar. Try to square yourself off. From here, right arm goes up to the ceiling. All right, you press the carriage out, pause here. It's a lift up and over. Don't let that right hip come with you. So we're not going here. Think of that right hip sticking out as I lift up and over. You stack your spine up tall, bend that left elbow. Right hand comes down to the shoulder block. Hold on for dear life. Left arm goes up and over. Big counter stretch. Come all the way up. I got a snap, crackle, pop out of that one. Press the carriage out. Hold here. Think of lifting up. Bend at your bra line if you're wearing one. Space between ears and shoulders. And then stack it all the way back up. Pull the carriage in. Hand comes down. You lift up and over. So it's also just like our mat work. Stack it back up. Only 2 on each side. Let's turn around to the other side. Almost there, y'all. If you're still there with me, awesome, awesome work. All right, find your tall lifted spine. Hug those legs together. Press the carriage out. You go up to go over. So see, I have to bend my elbow a little bit. I just feel like my elbow and my shoulder is a little wonky if I don't bend the elbow. And then stack it back up. Left hand comes down, right arm comes up and over. So do what you got to do to feel that arm to back connection. And then back up. And of course, if anything I ever say in class, you're like, I don't really know what she's talking about. It's okay. You keep coming. Things will make sense. Your body will make those connections. Counter stretch up and over. All right. Let's stay on the 1 medium spring. Come back up to kneeling, facing the back of your reformer. Hook your feet on the edge of your mat there. All right. Reach down. Let's grab onto the short loops. We're going to finish with a chest expansion and thigh stretch. All right, so make it feel good, all right? Arms are straight, tailbone is long, heels are pushing back. With straight arms, pull the arms down and back and pause. Lift those collarbones up as the fist push down. Fist push down. Turn your head to the left. Turn your head to the right. Turn your head to center and then slowly release. Again, pull the arms down and back. Reach the arms back. Turn your head to the right. Turn your head to the left. Turn your head to center and then slowly release the arms. Go ahead and put on another medium spring. 2 reds. Walk your knees up against the shoulder blocks, shins, plant them down, choke up on the ropes here. All right, so arms just stay reaching forward. Pubic bone stays pointing forward as well. Keep your long line as you hinge back. Hinge back. When you don't want to go any further, push into those shins to lift yourself up. Let's do that again. You get longer. Scrape your head on the top of the ceiling and then come all the way up. Tailbone stays long. You got it. One more here. Finish strong. Maybe find a little back bend at the top. Take your gaze down, nod your chin, kind of roll yourself out of it. And listen, y'all are done. Nice work today.